So I apologize. Well, I don't really apologize. I'm from Kansas City, right home of the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I'm going to have some quotes from Patrick Mahomes. But I want to get you one here from Kirk Cousins, who's your quarterback, right? So he talks about champions. They're built on 1,000 invisible mornings, right? Getting up at 6 a.m. As much as some players have the look, it's always a reminder that for even if you don't look like Cam Newton or jump like Josh Doctson, that if you put in the hard work when no one is watching, you can overcome more than you can imagine. Becoming a champion. So every time I look at this and I do this presentation, these two pictures get me. I was telling some folks earlier, you're going to cry, you're going to laugh in the next hour 15. So how do you start writing a book and how do you start becoming a black belt? You say, Patrick, I don't want to do either one of those. I'm like, I understand. Oh, by the way, you are climbing a mountain with me today, right? This is my first convention presenting this presentation. There was a mountain I wanted to get to, and I'm starting to climb this new mountain to get to the next peak. So you're on a new journey with me. So how do you write a book? How do you get a black belt? How do you do what you want to do? Well, in front of all of you, you should have a piece of paper, right? Have a notepad. And you have a pen in your hand. Here's what you're going to do right now. You're going to write down one goal. Whatever the goal might be. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's your personal life. Whatever it might be. One goal. Write it down. And you have on the other page, we're going to walk through the champion code. So how do you start writing a book? How do you become a black belt? Well, so the two guys that are here in their black belt and have the black belts on, they're brand new. I mean, they're brand new. They only had them for like less than an hour. And those are geese. And so the guy that's bald, well, if you don't recognize, that's me. The other guy, that's my son, Jack. So how do you become a black belt at 49 years old? You don't. At 49 years old, your 9-year-old son who is in karate a little bit, he's driving home from karate class at the dojo, and he says, Dad, when are you going to start this? I said, start what, Jack? He said, when are you going to start karate? All right, so I've been his baseball coach. I've been his soccer coach. I'm his biggest supporter. He's an only child, so I'm also his playmate, right? Which is pretty fun, right? I mean, they ask me how old I'm like, oh, Jack, how old are you? I'm whatever you are, that's where I'm at, right? Because we are doing things all the time together. So we're driving home, and he's like, Dad, you need to start karate. I said, okay, right? You can't say no. And again, in our house, if you start something, you must finish it, right? You don't stop in the middle of a season because there are people that are relying upon you. If you're playing baseball, whatever it might be, if you're working on any team, doing whatever, and you say, you know what, it's too hard to quit. You know what? If you're on a baseball team, there's 9 guys, there's now 8 guys, right? So they're gonna miss you. If you're playing soccer, you got 9 guys or 8 guys on the field. We give you one guy, yeah, he could be the goalie. Nobody's gonna be the goalie. So you gotta be there. You gotta finish what you do. So this 9-year-old kid, one day we're coming home at the end of the baseball season, and he bats left-handed. So he is now on kid pitch. If you've ever been to a first-year kid pitch, those kids that are on the left-hand side get beamed every time, right? Because all these kids are on the right-hand side, and the kids are pitching going, yeah, I have all this room over here. You get the kid on this side, he's going to get hit, right? So at the end of the season, my son said, Dad, I said, yep. He goes, I'm retiring from baseball. 9 years old. I'm like, I didn't realize you could retire baseball 9 years old, but you did. I said, all right, dude, what are we doing? He goes, I'm going to go more into karate. All right, that works for me. He said, oh, by the way, you're going to start coming more with me also. So he is now no longer doing baseball. He's all in on karate. So now we're going to look at my first day in karate. So I spent, again, he was in the dojo. And by the way, those gis, those are 100% cotton. Those are hot as a lot of things, right? And so it's amazing. So I'm like, so you get into it, and I'm like, oh, this, whatever, Jack. And so I go my first day. Anyways, I call the dojo and talk to the sensei. His name's Sensei Daniel. And if you put the three of us, which has happened very often, the three of us having dinner, the waiter will come over and say, those are two great sons. And because Daniel is 26 now, but he looks just like Jack. Blonde-haired kid, tall kid. That kid now is taller than me. And so I'm like, he is my, I treat him like my son. But I called him, hey, Daniel. So Jack just challenged me that I need to start karate. And he goes, I'll see you at 4. I'm like, wait, you could be my out, right, dude? Say, you don't. And he goes, no, man, you're in. I'm like, all right. Show up at 4 o'clock, do a little 20-minute thing, and he's like, okay, first adult class is tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm like, wait, give me, nope, tonight. Oh, by the way, I'm going to give you the same offer I gave Jack. You get 30 days for $1. You get a free gi, right? You get a free t-shirt, and you get a free bag gloves. Bag gloves? I can hit stuff now? Oh, I'm in. So, so I can hit something. So I'm like, okay. So the first night I get back, so I'm in there. I got this gi on. This is a guy, when I was 7 years ago, I couldn't do 5 push-ups. I couldn't run. I couldn't jog. I couldn't do anything, right? I was out of shape. I was a guy sitting on the log, being horrible. I get done with class, and it's a 50-minute class, doing push-ups, everything else. And Daniel said, he looks up at the sky. He looks down at me. He said, I think I need to look at the ceiling because there's raining coming down on Patrick because there's a pool of sweat on him. And I apologize because you have lunch in an hour, but oh my gosh, I had a pool of sweat. I was trying to figure out where to do whatever I was trying to do to stay away from that. And day 1, so I bowed out, and Sensei Daniel came over and he goes, okay, that's day 1. He goes, tomorrow's day 2. I'm like, oh man, seriously? So in your goal you have right now, today's day 1 for you.